Have you ever locked eyes with a woman and felt a jolt, almost like she's reading straight into your soul? That moment isn't just coincidence. It's a signal, a subtle yet powerful message that most men completely misinterpret. I need you to pause for a second and really absorb this. What you think is a casual glance or even a flirtatious look could actually be her way of showing something she's desperately trying to hide. And the truth is, if you misread this, you could miss an entire layer of her feelings she may not even be able to put into words. Look, most men are trained to see women as puzzles or prizes, but I'm here to tell you that isn't just wrong, it's dangerous for your dating life, for your ability to connect, and for understanding the very core of human emotion. Direct eye contact isn't random. It's an invitation into her internal world, a subtle whisper of vulnerability. And the reason it matters so much is simple. Women are biologically wired to protect their feelings until they trust someone enough to reveal them. Every flicker of her gaze is an unspoken code, a signal that she's struggling with something she cannot easily say. When she holds your gaze, even for a split second longer than usual, that's her psyche trying to measure you. She's testing if you're safe, if you can handle the weight of what she's hiding. She's trying to see if your reaction will hurt her or if it will validate her unspoken truth. And here's the kicker. Most men flinch, look away, or force a smile, completely missing the nuance. You see, women often hide deep feelings like fear, anxiety, or longing behind a carefully controlled exterior. Eye contact is one of the few windows through that mask, an unconscious reveal. I want you to really understand this. She's not playing games. She's not trying to manipulate you. She's trying to communicate in a language that doesn't require words because she's afraid words will make her feel exposed. And that is where most men fail. They treat eye contact as attention-seeking or flattery, instead of recognizing it as an emotional lifeline. That small, charged glance could be her reaching out silently, asking you if you can handle the unfiltered truth of her emotions. So the next time a woman locks eyes with you, don't just react. Observe, sense. Don't break her rhythm by speaking too soon or joking it off. Instead, let her presence test you. Let her measure if you are the kind of man capable of holding space for what she's hiding. Because only when you can hold that space without judgment or rush does she begin to let the walls come down. Before we dive deeper, hit that like button and subscribe if you're ready to understand the psychology women never tell men, because what you're about to learn will completely change the way you see her. When a woman makes direct eye contact, it's never just about attraction, it's about detection. Her mind is running a silent assessment, and her eyes are the gateway to it. She's evaluating whether you are emotionally intelligent enough to recognize her hidden currents, whether you can see past the surface she presents to the world. Most men completely miss this. They see her gaze and think, she likes me, or she's flirting. That's only half the story, maybe even less. The other half is much deeper, much more critical. She's measuring if you're someone she could reveal vulnerability to without fear. Understand this. Vulnerability terrifies women because it exposes them to risk of judgment, risk of betrayal, risk of heartbreak, and so they hide. But direct eye contact becomes a covert test. It's her way of whispering, I'm here, I'm human. Are you going to break me or hold me? That is a signal far stronger than words, and it carries weight that most men will never fully comprehend. Her eyes can betray excitement she won't verbalize, or sadness she can't articulate. Even a flicker of hesitation, the tiniest micro-expression, is her mind trying to communicate without losing control. Here's the psychological truth most men ignore. Women are experts at masking feelings, but the eyes are almost impossible to fully control. Even when she's smiling, even when her body language says one thing, her gaze tells another story. If she looks at you steadily, with focus, it's not just curiosity, it's evaluation. She's determining whether you are safe, trustworthy, and capable of holding what she's hiding. She's weighing your reaction against the risk of exposing herself. And if you respond poorly, by laughing nervously, averting your gaze, or being insensitive, she will shut that window immediately. That connection disappears, and with it, any chance of getting deeper insight into her inner world. Men who understand this can read far beyond surface-level attraction. They learn to observe micro-movements, subtle shifts in pupil dilation, the way her eyes linger, the brief moments she looks away and back again. Every flicker tells a story. She may be scared, conflicted, or yearning for emotional connection. The man who recognizes this doesn't push. He mirrors calm, reassurance, and attentiveness. That's how trust builds, without words, without force, without pressure. So the next time her gaze locks with yours, don't just see it as attention or flirtation. See it as a test, a key, a glimpse into feelings she can't yet voice. This is where most men fail. They react to attraction, but miss the deeper psychological signals entirely. Only those who understand the language of the eyes can begin to navigate the unspoken layers of a woman's hidden feelings. Here's the part most men never grasp. When a woman holds eye contact, she's revealing a vulnerability she usually guards fiercely. This isn't about flirtation. This is about exposing pieces of herself that she's never shown anyone, not even her closest friends. Her gaze can communicate longing, confusion, fear, or even heartbreak, all in a fraction of a second. And what she's looking for is not attention, but validation. She wants to see if you are a man who can acknowledge her inner world without judgment, without trying to fix it immediately, and without making it about yourself. Direct eye contact is a bridge. It's a silent conversation that requires patience, intuition, and emotional presence. Most men are impatient. They see the gaze, feel the tension, and rush to respond with humor, compliments, or distractions. That is exactly the wrong approach. When you respond too quickly or misread her gaze, you collapse the bridge. She retreats, and that hidden layer of her feelings remains locked. But if you meet her eyes steadily, if you allow the silence to exist without pressure, something remarkable happens. She begins to test the depth of your emotional resilience. She begins to consider, maybe for the first time, that you can handle the truth of her feelings without flinching. This is also where subtlety becomes your greatest tool. Women are constantly scanning for cues that reveal whether you can handle emotional complexity. A flicker of warmth in your expression, a slow, confident blink, a calm posture, they signal that you are safe. Every micro-movement communicates more than words ever could. And here's the secret. Women hide their deepest feelings, not because they want to manipulate, but because revealing them too early has often led to pain. Your ability to recognize this, to respond with quiet steadiness instead of clumsy enthusiasm, is what separates men who are forgettable from men who are unforgettable. You have to understand that direct eye contact can trigger all sorts of emotions in her: anxiety, hope, fear, or longing. And she's watching closely to see if your presence amplifies or calms them. The man who understands this becomes magnetic because he doesn't demand confession. He simply provides a space where it can eventually unfold naturally. She will reveal herself in small increments, testing your consistency, your patience, your capacity to see her without forcing her into words before she's ready. So every time you catch her gaze, remember, it's a silent negotiation, a subtle probe into your emotional intelligence. React wisely, respond calmly, and observe deeply. What you do in these moments can determine whether she closes off forever or begins to let you into the most private corners of her mind. Let me tell you something most men will never notice. The way a woman looks at you can reveal her inner conflicts long before she ever speaks. Her gaze isn't just a glance, it's a carefully calibrated signal. Sometimes it's intense and unwavering. Other times it's fleeting, almost reluctant. Each variation is deliberate, even if she isn't consciously aware of it. She's testing the waters, probing for safety, measuring whether you can handle the emotional weight she carries. If you can read these subtle cues, you gain insight into her fears, her desires, and the parts of herself she has carefully hidden from everyone else. One of the most overlooked signals is hesitation in eye contact. When she looks at you and then quickly diverts her gaze, it doesn't mean disinterest. It often signals uncertainty, internal conflict, or anxiety. She's wrestling with whether to trust you enough to reveal what she's truly feeling. A man who recognizes this can respond with calm reassurance, not invasive questions or forced charm. By simply allowing her moments of pause, by demonstrating patience, you communicate safety. You show her that vulnerability won't be met with ridicule or pressure. That is how invisible trust begins to form. Another subtle behavior is the way her eyes linger after a brief glance. That pause may seem insignificant, but psychologically, it's a window into curiosity and intrigue. She's assessing your emotional state, your confidence, your capacity to remain composed. Most men interpret this as a flirtation signal, but in reality, it's far deeper. It's her subconscious asking, can this man handle me if I reveal what I'm hiding? How you respond to that lingering gaze is critical. Any hint of nervousness, overeagerness, or judgment can shut her down instantly, but calm, measured acknowledgement encourages her to slowly lower the walls she has built around her emotions. Finally, notice the subtle micro-expressions, tiny flickers of fear, longing, or sadness in her eyes. These are involuntary. She cannot hide them fully, even when she tries. Women often suppress feelings because past experiences have taught them that vulnerability equals risk. When you notice and respect these signals, you demonstrate a rare level of emotional intelligence. You're telling her, without words, that she can be seen without being exploited, judged, or rejected. Understand this. Her gaze is a language in itself. It communicates tests, invitations, and concealed truths all at once. Men who can read it not only gain insight into her hidden feelings, but they also position themselves as anchors of trust in a world where most interactions are superficial. The man who masters this quietly, patiently, becomes unforgettable. Now let's get to the part most men completely overlook: the emotional layers hidden in a woman's eyes. Every glance carries multiple signals at once, and the most successful men are those who can decode them without her saying a single word. When a woman makes direct eye contact, she's not only revealing curiosity or attraction, she's giving you a live map of her inner world, including emotions she refuses to speak about. It's subtle, but if you pay attention, it's unmistakable. You'll notice tiny shifts in her pupils, the slight narrowing or widening of her eyes, or the way she tilts her head. Each micro-movement tells a story, and missing them is what keeps most men trapped in surface-level interactions. Here's the psychological reality. Her gaze can express longing, fear, insecurity, or hope, often all in the same exchange. If she's hesitant, glancing away briefly before returning her focus to you, it signals an internal struggle. She's torn between wanting connection and protecting herself from emotional pain. If her eyes linger longer than expected, it's curiosity and interest mixing with caution. A fleeting sparkle or a softening of the eyelids indicates vulnerability she's testing you with. And here's the key. The moment you acknowledge these signals with calm presence instead of impulsive reaction, you are demonstrating the rare quality she unconsciously craves: emotional safety. Most men respond incorrectly. They joke, they tease, or they push too hard. That closes her off instantly. Women aren't looking for instant solutions to their feelings. They're searching for proof that someone can witness their hidden emotions without trying to fix, judge, or overwhelm them. Your ability to remain grounded while her eyes convey complex emotions is what makes you different. It positions you as someone she can trust with the parts of herself she rarely shares, if ever. Another overlooked layer is the way her gaze shifts during conversation. Subtle glances toward you when she's speaking indicate a desire for connection, a test to see if you're tuned into her emotions. Momentary looks away, followed by direct re-engagement signals self-protection, while she assesses your reactions. These are tiny tests, and your responses are everything. By mirroring calm, attentive presence, you send a silent message: I see you. I respect you. You can trust me. Remember, understanding her gaze is not about manipulation. It's about perception, emotional intelligence, and patience. It's about being the man who notices what others overlook and creating the space where she can gradually reveal her hidden feelings. The men who master this are rare, and the rewards, authentic connection, trust, and intimacy, are beyond anything superficial attraction can offer. Now let's talk about what most men get wrong and what separates the average from the exceptional. When a woman locks eyes with you, she's testing more than attraction. She's testing your emotional composure, your ability to hold space for her without rushing, and your capacity to interpret unspoken feelings. Your response in these moments can either deepen her trust or shut her down entirely. And the truth is, most men fail before they even realize a test was taking place. They react impulsively, laugh nervously, or force conversation, all of which signals that they can't handle what she's trying to show. The first key is presence. When her gaze meets yours, don't feel the need to fill the silence. Let her look, let her evaluate. Most men panic in these pauses, but the pause is where the real conversation happens. Your calm, measured presence tells her that her hidden feelings are safe with you, even if she hasn't yet spoken a word. You are, in essence, giving her permission to feel without judgment. That's rare. That's magnetic. Second, mirror subtly. Her micro-expressions, tiny shifts in her pupils, the softening of her eyelids, the faint twitch of a smile, are all unconscious signals. You don't need to overreact. A subtle nod, a slight softening of your own gaze, a calm breath in response. These small actions demonstrate awareness and empathy. She doesn't need words. She needs confirmation that her vulnerability can exist without fear. Third, don't try to decode everything immediately. The temptation is strong, but jumping in with assumptions or commentary risks breaking the fragile bridge she's testing. Instead, stay attentive and let the connection develop organically. Notice her patterns, her hesitations, the way she looks at you in moments of silence versus conversation. Your ability to observe without intrusion shows emotional intelligence and creates trust that words cannot. Finally, reinforce safety subtly. A calm tone of voice, relaxed body posture, and steady eye contact communicate without saying a single word. You can trust me. I can handle you. That is the most powerful response you can give. It's not charm, it's not clever lines. It's emotional stability that signals strength, patience, and respect. That's how a man becomes unforgettable in her mind. Direct eye contact is a window into her hidden world. It's a test, a plea, and an invitation all at once. If you can respond with presence, patience, and emotional awareness, you become the anchor she didn't know she was searching for. The reward is profound. A woman who begins to lower her defenses and reveal feelings she's never shared. A bond built not on words, but on trust and deep emotional recognition. Now, let's pull back the curtain entirely and reveal the ultimate truth about what a woman's eyes can tell you, if you know how to truly see. Every glance, every flicker, every lingering look is a hidden language, a code she never learned to speak aloud. It's her vulnerability, her longing, her fear, her curiosity, all layered into one powerful signal. Most men think they're reading attraction or interest, but in reality, her eyes reveal emotional depth far beyond what words can capture. The rare man learns to read it like a map, navigating the hidden terrain of feelings she's spent years protecting. Here's the thing. When a woman maintains direct eye contact, she's not just testing your confidence or charm. She's gauging your emotional stability. She's silently asking, can I show you my real self without being hurt? Can I expose what I hide from everyone else? And here's where most men fall apart. They react with ego, impulsiveness, or misread the intensity as superficial flirtation. But the man who understands sees it for what it is, an invitation to witness, without judgment, the depth of her hidden world. The eyes can reveal everything: moments of suppressed longing, hidden sadness, secret hope, or desire for connection she cannot voice. Subtle micro-movements, a softening, a quick glance away, the way her pupils shift, signal the layers of emotion she's keeping private. And every time you notice and respond with calm presence, you're not just connecting, you're becoming the safe space she has unconsciously been seeking. That is rare, and that is magnetic. Here's the ultimate insight. The most powerful men in relationships are not the ones who push, persuade, or impress. They are the men who listen with their eyes, who sense the unspoken, who meet vulnerability without fear, and who respond with stability, patience, and quiet respect. Women don't just want someone attractive, they want someone capable of holding the weight of their hidden emotions. When you learn to read the language of her gaze, you are no longer just a man in her life. You become an anchor, someone unforgettable, someone she begins to reveal herself to. So the next time a woman locks eyes with you, stop thinking about what it means superficially. Observe, feel, and respond with grounded awareness. Understand the depth of her hidden feelings, the silent tests she places before you, and the invitation she's offering without words. This is the ultimate path to trust, intimacy, and a connection far beyond surface-level attraction. Your ability to see, respond, and hold that space is what separates ordinary men from the ones who truly transform a woman's emotional world, and in doing so, transform themselves.